Good evening and welcome to Green White Checkered TV's presentation of the Area 51 and NextGen Cup Series live from Dover, Delaware at Dover Downs International Raceway for race number 3 of 4 for the Area 51 NextGen Cup Series playoffs. This season has been an exciting one, and coming off a 1-week break last week, our drivers are now gearing up for 100 laps of racing action around the mighty Monster Mile. Practice just approaching its end, and as we do, let's take a look at our point standings currently, see how we rack them and stack them. Isaiah Sutherland, currently our points leader with about a 9-point lead over Gary Silipinski. Kyle Heath in third, Maxwell Caldwell in fourth. The early season points leader, regular season champion Maxwell Caldwell sits fourth in points, about 20 points or so, 15 points off of Isaiah Sutherland. Mark Brown fifth, Todd Merkel, Mike Peters, and John Held are our 8 playoff contenders. Drivers tonight are going to face a tricky track, concrete surface in the heat of the day, so track will be quite fast. Now, what we want to watch out for here, Isaiah Sutherland, a bit of a roll of late. Only one race left in our championship. So if he could continue this lead or extend this lead slightly, currently 11-point lead over Silipinski and Heath, he'd be quite happy with that. I think right now we have everybody's still eligible for the points. John Held missed a race, so slightly out of the points contention, but all the way back there to Mike Peters. One foul incident could really mix this championship fight up, so we're going to keep a tight eye on all of these drivers tonight. As I said, practice just about getting wrapped up. And let's take a look quickly at our practice times. Right now, Ryan Kelly, always a strong runner, not in the playoffs after missing a couple races this season. Fastest on track, tied actually with Gary Silipinski for quick time. Brandon Hartwell, a name we don't see up on the boards too much or in this series, is currently third. There's Mike Peters, a playoff contender, Mark Brown, Kyle Heath, all packed in tightly together. You see those drivers highlighted in green, and they will do so on the ticker at the top of the screen as well. All green highlighted drivers are the ones in our playoffs. So Isaiah Sutherland slightly off the mark there. We see John Held the same, Todd Merkel the same, and one driver that we do not see out right now, Maxwell Caldwell. As practice ends, I believe that means Maxwell Caldwell will miss the call for the race tonight, taking him out of the running for the points championship. Defending champion of last season, Maxwell Caldwell, not making the race tonight as qualifying about to get underway. We'll keep an eye on our drivers as they start to make their way onto the speedway. It's like first driver on track, John Held, getting ready to roll out of pit lane. There he is in a Rockstar Energy drink, number 47 Toyota Camry. John Held, 8th place pointsman right now, with Maxwell Caldwell missing the call. This might be a chance for John Held to move up in the point standings. Beautiful looking paint scheme there. John Held, a couple different paint schemes he's run throughout the course of this season. This one, kind of the best and brightest. Rockstar Energy drink aboard, Napa Know-How, Haviland, and that beautiful Brian Clausen tribute logo on the very top hood of John Held's ride. Let's jump on board with John Held here if we can, and see if we take a look at what it looks like going around the track. Here we are on board with John Held. Really pedaling the throttle out of turn 4 onto the front stretch. Currently goes to the top of the boards with a 23.16. Mark Brown now has jumped up in front of him. We'll hang on for this lap and then we'll jump off. John Held currently third, trying to move up in the point standings as he comes out of turn 4 in this qualifying run. Right close against the wall, gets a little squirrely. Comes across the line. Isaiah Sutherland, another driver out there in the Sutherland Used Cars Virtual Academy, number 1 Chevy Camaro, had quick time. Mark Brown stole it. Completion of the second lap. Sutherland hangs on for third as Gary Silipinski in the 78 car jumps up to quick time. And Silipinski pulling it down pit lane. Brandon Hartwell here in the Red Bull number 5. Thrustmaster sponsorship on this Chevy Camaro as he comes around through turns 3 and 4. Hartwell fast in practice. How will he run here? Hartwell jumps up to second, just 0.02 of a second off Gary Silipinski in the number 78 car. Good qualifying run there. Kyle Heath, point man, just finished up. And here is Mike Peters. Let's jump on board with Mike Peters as he completes his warm-up lap. So we're on board live right now with Mike Peters. First qualifying, great exit. Really kept the throttle down through turns 1 and 2 and then into turn 3. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, Repairify, Awesome Pizza Shop, Ford Mustang across the line. Mike Peters jumps up to 4th time. Going to try to run a little bit quicker here. Slides up the track just slightly. Back in the gas now. Maybe a slight lift compared to the first time by underneath the Ally Bridge into turn 3. Mike Peters desperately trying to move up the point standings with 2 races to go. The penultimate race in the championship. And Mike Peters is going to hold on to 5th place on the timing boards. Another driver out here, Josh Yarborough, as we jump on board. Yarborough on his warm-up lap. Beautiful looking number 77 Toyota Camry of Josh Yarborough. Already posted on our chat here tonight. Sharp looking, always sharp looking purple, number 77 for Yarborough. 10th fastest on the boards and really locks it up there and pulls it down pit lane. Another driver here, Gael Brooks in the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Hospitals IMC Children Ford Mustang, the number 71. This is Gael Brooks. Gael, not a regular contender here, a regular runner with us, I should say. He has been a contender, though, in the several races that he has entered with us. So Gael Brooks here. Let's see what he can do on this qualifying run. Just lost the camera slightly now. About a minute left in our qualifying session. ExtraLife.com, ExtraLife.org, I should say. Excellent organization for people to play video games and raise money for children. They just had the charity race on here as he slaps the wall, and that's going to scrub his lap quite a bit. Unfortunately, in iRacing, if you're not familiar, you get a marker, what we call a 1X. That means you got 1 incident point, and you are not able to slap the wall like we just saw out of Gael Brooks there on this qualifying run. Unfortunately, that is going to put him to the back. So with 14 cars qualified, we got about 20 cars in our field tonight. It looks like Robert Jordan, Joseph Morales, Charles Evans, Gael Brooks, who we saw with that incident, Jorge Rason, and Jason Adams not taking a qualifying time as qualifying is ending. And that puts Gary Silipinski on the pole. So let's take a look at our grid as drivers beginning to make their way onto our starting grid. Starting on the pole in the number 78 car is going to be Gary Silipinski. Brandon Hartwell with a strong run will be starting from 2nd place. Mark Brown from 3rd, and Ryan Kelly, trying to get the first win of the season, will be starting from 4th. Mike Peters will be starting from 5th position in the Awesome Pizza Shop car. With Isaiah Sutherland, current points lead in the Southern Used Cars Virtual Academy Chevy Camaro, starting from 6th. Kyle Heath and Lewis Woodall line up from the 4th row. James Ledford and Josh Yarborough will run out our top 10. John Held and Joseph Grijalva, both drivers looking to pick up their first win of the season, starting from row number 6. Row number 7 will include Derek Gilray and Todd Merkel. Joseph Morales and Charles Evans will be rolling off from our 8th row. Gael Brooks, with the tough luck there in his qualifying run, will be starting from 17th position. And Jorge Rason, new driver for us, I believe. Then the 907 in the Goodweiser Motorsports car starts in 18th position. Jason Adams and Robert Jordan will be rounding out our 20-car field. As we discussed at the top, this is a 100-lap race with the Area 51 Next Gen Cup Series. I would expect to have one pit stop along the way. Should be at least one pit stop for these drivers, but if cautions allow it, I'm sure we will see more. Drivers pacing around. Beautiful looking field here as the penultimate race in the championship. We got a good leak here at the Dryden Bridge. That's the exit of turn 2. Cars making their way down the backstretch. Awesome looking field. Championship contenders toward the front of this race. Hard charger Guile Brooks in the number 71 will be coming from deep in the field, trying to get up there and score another victory. Now passing on the Allied Bridge right next to the casino. Drivers buckling their seatbelts one final time, getting all fastened up here. We have our eyes on Gary Silipinski and Brandon Hartwell. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. Ladies and gentlemen, fans of all ages, it's showtime on the green-white checker TV. Take a look up front. Gary Silipinski right now. Strong contender out in front of the field. Second place pointsman looking for a good points night. Brandon Hartwell right behind him, trailing in the Red Bull number 5 Chevy Camaro. And Mark Brown, another playoff driver, right towards the front of the field. You see the ticker at the top of the screen. Names highlighted in green are our championship contenders. Silipinski, Brown, Sutherland, Peters, Heath, John Held, Todd Merkel, and Maxwell Caldwell did not make the call for tonight, so out of points contention. Right now, top 5. 4 of the top 5 are championship drivers. Field getting fairly spread out. One driver already making his headway. Guile Brooks with Jorge Rason right behind him. There's Guile Brooks in the 71 Extra Life car, already up 3 spots. Jorge Rason right behind him. Just the same, the Goodrent Service Plus, Oreos, Burger King, number 28 car, making their way through the field. Championship drivers, let's take a look. There's our championship contender. Mark Brown sits in third. Going to try to make a move on that number 5. They do not want to let Gary Silipinski get out in front. We know Gary, always a strong runner with us here. And if he gets out in front, he could really run away with this, especially with the 20-car field tonight. That could be something these drivers are thinking, well, we might not have a caution flag along the way here. Good battle, a little bit farther back in the pack here. Charles Evans on the inside. Josh Yarborough on the outside. This is for 16th and 17th position. Back up front, Gary Silipinski. Running strong out in front right now. Fastest car on the track, though. Brandon Hartwell, we see him beginning to close in on the back of Silipinski. Washes up the track just slightly. As we got a battle back here, Mark Brown, Isaiah Sutherland side by side. Mike Peters putting his nose into the picture, about to make a 3 wide. He drives in hard behind Isaiah Sutherland. Sutherland clears Mark Brown. Now Peters trying to do the same. Brown may have touched the wall there. It's Mike Peters on the inside here. Kyle Heath also putting his nose in. Ryan Kelly right behind them. So 4-car battle here. This is for 4th and 5th position. Sutherland is through. The first of the going around up to 3rd place. Peters, strong run so far. Up to 4th. Kyle Heath now was slipped around Mark Brown. Mark Brown losing a slew of spots there. Got caught on the outside of the speedway. Unable to get back down and just continued to lose time. As now we got championship contenders now. 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. Mark Brown going to give up another spot. Ryan Kelly in the Dynaco number 13 slides in right in front of Mark Brown. Lewis Woodall now is going to be the next to have Mark Brown's name on the calendar. As here we go. A little bit further. Kyle Heath, the Me Marie Designs, Logitech. Youthful Nectar 54 almost gave up a spot there to Mike Peters, who really slides high in the corner trying to get a good run, but Ryan Kelly, hard charger. Ryan Kelly going to try to squeak into the top 5 there and send Mike Peters backwards. Back up front, Gary Silipinski leads by about 0.3 of a second over Brandon Hartwell, about a second and a half ahead of 3rd place contender Isaiah Sutherland. So a long way to go for Sutherland. A little bit of an incident back here. We see Ledford all out of shape and up the track. Gave up a spot to Grijalva there. Looks like he's got back rolling now in that 48 Exalta Chevy Camaro. So not sure what happened with James Ledford, but did see he was starting to drop some spots. Ryan Kelly able to get around Mike Peters. So Ryan Kelly put him in the top 5, trying to play spoiler tonight with these playoff contenders. Look at this line now that we're seeing here. Drivers beginning to move up the track. Let's take a look at what it looks like from Kyle Heath's car. So we're on board Kyle Heath. Look at Isaiah Sutherland slightly up the track compared to Kyle Heath. Heath may have a little bit more speed at this stage. We'll check lap times. Yeah, Kyle Heath about 1/10 of a second faster, even a little bit more over Isaiah Sutherland. But 2 cars up ahead, you see Gary Silipinski, that first little dot in the distance. Brandon Hartwell, the second one. Hartwell, not a playoff contender, but playing spoiler right now. At least trying to keep Silipinski honest. As our 2 teammates here, Isaiah Sutherland and Kyle Heath, battling at nose to tail. This is for 3rd and 4th position. Ryan Kelly just behind this group. We'll take a look. There's Ryan Kelly heading down the backstretch. These drivers very tight together as now Kyle Heath finds an opening on the inside of Isaiah Sutherland. Slips down to the inside. The Sutherland News cars. Chevy Camaro drops a position. Our current points leader starting to fade a little bit, but Kyle Heath, good pass there. Gains a spot and now is going to have his sight sets on Brandon Hartwell. Ryan Kelly now dives down to the inside of Isaiah Sutherland. Sutherland has been running that slightly higher line, but I don't think it's working out for him. But he gets a big run down the backstretch. Does he pull? Yes, he does pull on the inside of Ryan Kelly. So I wonder if this is a case of some of these drivers. Ryan Kelly, we saw lose spots. Mark Brown, Mike Peters. Perhaps they used up their tires too early, and these other guys kind of conserved a little bit. And now they are starting to make some headway on everyone. We may see that big time. Looks like Brandon Hartwell really starting to slip off the pace here. Not sure what's happening to Brandon Hartwell. He has significantly dropped off of Gary Silipinski and beginning to fall back in the clutches of Kyle Heath. We talked about it just a few laps ago. Silipinski and Hartwell had about 1.5 seconds or more lead on the field. And now Brandon Hartwell, he is significantly slower than other drivers. Ryan Kelly in the 13th, fastest car on the track right now. Looks like Lewis Woodall coming into the pits. Could this be an unscheduled pit stop for Woodall? Looks like I don't see damage on his car. So first driver making his way on the pit lane, Lewis Woodall in the Coca-Cola 00. We'll keep an eye on that and see how strategy shakes out. Silipinski, though, absolutely destroying the field right now. 2.5 second lead, and that is growing by about 0.2 of a second every lap. Kyle Heath now we see big time slip up there by Hartwell. He was way up the track. He might lose another spot to Ryan Kelly here as we complete lap 24 of 100, about a quarter of the way distance done. Yeah, now there's Hartwell way up the track, opens a door for Ryan Kelly. And I think his tires may have fallen off. Brandon Hartwell going to be hoping and praying for some way to get those fresh tires on, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do it anytime soon if this race stays green. So let's set the scene right now. We'll take a look at our leader. This is Gary Silipinski, fastest timer of the day, the Furniture Row, Cone Police number 78. Currently leader, but we'll check lap time. Silipinski across the line. Kyle Heath, about a tenth of a second faster for Kyle Heath. So we should see him starting to reel in Silipinski. We'll keep an eye on it. Here's Kyle Heath, the beautiful Me Marie Designs. Youthful Nectar number 54. Also got Logitech on board there. Currently, I believe fourth place point man. Trying to gain on Silipinski and get that coveted win. One win on the season for Kyle Heath. Ryan Kelly, a driver who we've seen up front quite often this year, missed a couple races with us in the Dynaco Chevy Camaro, but a driver who has been knocking on the door for a win, and for some reason he always runs into some bad luck. So we'll keep an eye on that. Further back here is Isaiah Sutherland, Brandon Hartwell, side by side. Hartwell beginning to really slip back as Sutherland pushes up the track almost into the wall. And we got a good battle side by side here. This is for fourth and fifth position. See those lap times there on the side. As Sutherland now slips up to fourth position, current points leader. Wants a strong day to hold on to that points lead as we enter the final race next week. Brandon Hartwell in the Red Bull number 5 started in second, back to the tail end of the top 5 now. Currently runs in fifth. And he is really losing a lot of lap time. So we'll keep an eye on Mike Peters, who's about a second and a half behind, can begin to reel him back in. Here's Mike Peters, the Raising Cane's One Guard, Austin Pizza Shop, Repairify, Roush Performance, number 95. Driver who has had some tough luck this season, but has continued to fight back and claw back. We saw him recently get his podium finish, so hopefully we can see that again out of Mike Peters. Joseph Grijalva, currently in 7th position. The Ford Performance Motorcraft Ford Mustang almost won a race a few races ago. I believe it was at Charlotte Motor Speedway and or Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and his car just disappeared. Lost connection, had connection issues, and man, that was a tough break, but now certainly sits in 7th spot. I know he was very bummed about that. Charles Evans in the number 58 car. Strong run tonight for Charles Evans. Happy to see him up there in 8th. John Held in the Rockstar Energy and Cavalier Napa Know-How. Brian Clausen. Toyota Camry. You see he getting passed by Gael Brooks. Gael Brooks with a major, very quick pass there in the Extra Life 71. Been coming from the back of the pack here, 17th starting position. Gonna need a caution to really bring him back into play with everyone, but currently sits in 9th spot. John Held, there he is. We were just talking about him. And Jorge Rason, a driver at the Good Wrench Service Plus, Oreos, Burger King, Snap-on Tools, number 28 car. Also coming from the back, kind of following in the footsteps of Gael Brooks a little bit. Up to 11th spot from starting in 18th position. There's Josh Yarborough with Mark Brown closing quickly. Brown sends it down on the inside of Yarborough. Drivers side by side. Brown has to roll out of the throttle there as Yarborough gets a big run along the top side. Looks like a lot of drivers moving up there to really help the momentum on older tires. Mark Brown, we saw him start way up front, currently in 13th, so not good for points contender Mark Brown to drop that many spots. Also looking for a sponsor for him. If you know anyone in the business, give him a call. Jason Adams, number 24, DuPont, Pepsi, GMAC, Nicorette, Sparkle. Quaker State, Chevy Camaro. Currently sits in 14th position. Beautiful looking car. Strong run for Jason Adams. Joseph Morales in the Rockstar Energy Drink Chevy Camaro. Number 60 sits in 15th position with Derek Gilray in the Flow Racing Fanatec Track Racer Area 51 Trading Paints number 46. In 16th, and Todd Merkel, last car in the lead lap, the Merkel Racing Engines driven Ross. Number 2 car sits 17th, points contender Todd Merkel, unfortunately appears to be just been put a lap down by leader Gary Silipinski. So Silipinski leads about a 2.5 second lead, but Kyle Heath is slowly catching him, so we'll keep an eye especially on pit stops if this race stays green, how this is going to shake out. Here's Kyle Heath. We'll go on board with Kyle Heath once again. Thank you, Kyle Heath, for carrying our onboard camera. Here's Kyle Heath. You see Todd Merkel's car just up in front, that bright yellow car. There's the black car up ahead. That is Gary Silipinski. One driver coming off a pit lane. We'll keep an eye on who that is. As these drivers now, it appears they're trying to start a pit cycle, maybe making 2 pit stops here. Pitting on lap 37, maybe pit on lap about 70, and keep fresh tires throughout the night. Gary Silipinski going down on the inside. That's Derek Gilray, putting him 1 lap down. So tough break for Derek Gilray. He'll try to hang on to the tail end of the lead lap here if he can. Next driver on the radar is Jason Adams. And Jason Adams, he will be closing in quickly. Silipinski running a torrid pace right now. Couple drivers coming into the pits. We see Robert Jordan has entered the pits. James Ledford entered the pits. I think Ledford may have pulled off the race totally. I don't see him out there. Same for Lewis Woodall and Robert Jordan. All 3 of those drivers appear to be out of the race. Gael Brooks. Let's take a look at Gael. Up to 9th. About to make a pass here on Charles Evans. At least attempt to make a pass, as he is closing in quickly on the back of Evans. We've been watching this for some time now. Slowly reeling, and then when the field gets spread out like this, we can really watch drivers begin. As Mike Peters, first playoff contender to jump into pit lane. Mike Peters gets her woed up. Very tough pit lane entry here at Dover Raceway. But Mike Peters able to navigate that. Going to try some strategy here. We'll see how this shakes out. Mark Brown, other playoff driver, makes it down the pit lane. Now, challenge here, only a 1-mile track. So if you pit early, you will go a lap down. As we see, Gary Silipinski has already passed the start-finish line. So this could result in 2 laps down here. We'll keep an eye on it. Here's Mike Peters in pit lane. Peters wants a strong run tonight. Perhaps this pit strategy will allow him to get back up front by the end of this race. We'll see how it shakes out. As Mark Brown, you see him entering his pits as well. And they're at maybe 2 laps down for Mike Peters. So gonna really hope that this race stays green from here on out, at least until this pit cycle is over. He should, though. Let's just give some lap time. So for our leader, Gary Silipinski, best time on the day at 23.13. So 23.13 for Gary Silipinski. I'll put it up on the board. Current lap time, that time by at 25.15. So we're right at 2 seconds a lap slower than when we started this run. We're on lap 44 of 100. So a significant tire difference. We should see Mike Peters, in short order, if Silipinski stays out, begin to just kind of cruise right on by all of these leaders. See if we get eyes on him. So here's Mike Peters right now. And if we jump on board, just watch his speed here compared to other drivers. You see the 74 up ahead. That's Robert Jordan, well off the pace. You saw how fast he approached. Just rolls on by Josh Yarbrough, but you see that closing rate. You got to be cautious of that. You don't want to run over the guy that you're trying to pass and totally ruin your own strategy. So awesome to see Mike Peters on this unique strategy as well. Mark Brown only 2 seconds behind here. Watch that car up ahead. That is a pretty quick car, a 902, a Jorge Rason. You can see the closing speed here. It is pretty wicked. Just look how much farther you could drive in the corner as Todd Merkel appears to be coming in. We got Ryan Kelly in pit lane as well. Let's jump to that. Here's Ryan Kelly, the Dynaco number 13, pitted from 5th position. So Ryan Kelly, one of our first leaders in the pit lane. Something else I want to look at here. Kyle Heath really beginning to make inroads on Silipinski. Got the gap down to 2 seconds. So we're going to really want to watch how these drivers get on and off of pit road. We'll see if Silipinski's the first one to budge. Is he going to keep it rolling? Is now under 2 seconds now. Kyle Heath and Isaiah Sutherland, just Kyle Heath. Isaiah Sutherland about 2 seconds off of Kyle Heath. Kyle Heath gets it woed up, gets the pit lane, coming in pretty high here. Does he get it stopped? Hits the wall, unfortunately. Coming to pit lane. No, not good, but I do not see damage on that car. I'll see if I can get closer. Looks like the right side of that car looks A-okay, although he did slap the wall. I wonder if he came in a little too fast and did not make pit road time. So we got Kyle Heath on pit lane. Isaiah Sutherland, John Heltz, our championship contenders, beginning to come to pit lane. Silipinski, though, stays out another lap. Going to run a little bit long. We're on lap 50 here, halfway home in this 100-lap Dover Motor Speedway race with the Area 51 NextGen Cup Series. Watching the playoff picture roll out here. We'll keep an eye on Silipinski. Here he is. He's coming to pit lane. Gets it slowed down. We know Silipinski may have had pit trouble in other races. Does he get that woe down? Yes, he does. Has to lock up the tire there, but that looked just about picture perfect for Gary Silipinski. So we're going to keep an eye on that with Silipinski coming down pit road. Here is Kyle Heath. We'll see how this shakes out. We will watch on board of Kyle Heath, who's 2 seconds back on before everyone has came to pit lane. We'll see how this shakes out with Gary Silipinski. So around 1, so now he's back on the lead lap. We'll check back with Silipinski. Silipinski getting his right side tires, about to get his left side tires now. Here he is, gets him up there, and here comes Kyle Heath. This is what we want to watch. Kyle Heath, I believe, will close right up onto him. Where's Silipinski? There's Silipinski coming off a pit lane. If we watch, we'll see. There he goes. Kyle Heath streaks on by to take over the lead from Gary Silipinski. What will be the lead after all of the pit stops have shaken out, I believe. No, I'm mistaken. Ryan Kelly. Currently a 4-second lead over Kyle Heath and Gary Silipinski from that earlier pit stop. Current leader, though, Gael Brooks out in front all by himself. Only 4 cars on the lead lap. Gael Brooks, Jorge Rason, Joseph Morales, and Jason Adams. These drivers going to try to stretch it along, hope and pray for a caution flag to take place to get them back, as now Jason Adams is under pit lane. There's Ryan Kelly, rolls by that Dynaco car. So we're watching Gael Brooks here very, very slow. As we go aboard Gael, watch how much faster these drivers are as they drive on by. There's a good look. John Held as Gael coming to pit lane. There's a great look at that difficult pit entry. Gets it woe down and stopped just in time. So feel just about ready to shake back out to, and then we'll get a good reset on everyone as here's Jorge Rason still out on track, really stretching his legs on this one with about only 45 laps to go. So as we said at the top of the show, only need 1 pit stop tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, I see Gary Silipinski back on pit lane. Silipinski is back down pit lane. We'll keep an eye on it here. Not sure what's happening with Gary Silipinski. Silipinski, I wonder if he was speeding on pit lane at some point as he has entered back into pit lane. Oh, what a heartbreak hotel moment for Gary Silipinski. Pulls it off track and is sitting on pit lane right now. Oh my goodness, early leader, led every lap so far until this pit cycle. However, back up front, Ryan Kelly is out in front by about 3 seconds. But not to be denied, Kyle Heath beginning to reel him back in. And yeah, Gary Silipinski, speeding penalty of some sort of pit lane infraction, puts him back in 17th position. We've seen this happen before, where Gary Silipinski had some sort of tough luck with pit lane. It was the exit or entrance of pit lane where he was speeding, and is now significantly at a disadvantage in this points race. So right now, let's do a little reset right here. The 902 shows up 28 on his car. Jorge Rason out in front by about 8 seconds over Ryan Kelly and Kyle Heath. So Jorge Rason needs to pit still as Silipinski slips on by him after that tough break, having to come to pit lane again. So what Rason is hoping for is a caution flag at any moment here. Lap 60 at 100, really hoping for a caution flag. I mean, he is. And this is no joke. 3 seconds off of Ryan Kelly's current pace. So much, much slower. He is about a lap and a half away from getting passed for the lead. And he is going to be way out of whack on strategy. Joseph Grijalva gets his lap back. Nice to see, Rason a little bit further back in the pack. You might as well try something, as now there he is. He's coming to pit lane. And this is going to reset our field as Rason pulls in the pit lane. Very gingerly knows there's no need to rush that. We have Ryan Kelly out in front. He has a 2.1 second lead over Kyle Heath, who has about a 4-second lead over Isaiah Sutherland. Brandon Hartwell and Mike Peters will cycle back to 5th position, but Joseph Grijalva all over Mike Peters. Catch this action just in time. Grijalva and Peters side by side battling in the one, and Grijalva is going to get the advantage over Mike Peters. So Grijalva on the charge up to 5th spot, pushes Mike Peters back 1. Back up front, though, we're keeping our eyes right here on Ryan Kelly and Kyle Heath. So let me set the scene for you right now. If we can show our battle on the track. So Kyle Heath, so setting the scene here right now, that last lap, big gain. I believe Ryan Kelly was passing a lap car. Ryan Kelly a 25.03, Kyle Heath a 24.38. So Kyle Heath may have the long run pace here with 35 laps to go. Ryan Kelly is pretty fast. Lap cars in front of him. I see John Hell, I see Gael Brooks up there. That time, lap times kind of evened out as Kyle Heath was dealing with a lap car. Reeling him in this lap, though. We'll keep an eye on the lap times and jump on board with Kyle Heath once again. See the blue car just up ahead on the exit of 4. That is our leader, Ryan Kelly. So Kyle Heath has his eyes set. 33 laps to go. Needs to be patient here. 0.3 of a second faster that lap. He has the fishing rod and reel out. He's got them hooked and he's reeling them in. The Me Marie Designs Youthful Nectar number 54 getting closer and closer to the Dynaco number 13 and Ryan Kelly. One car a little squirrely way up in front. Beautiful onboard shots here. That's Todd Merkel in number 2. One car, 2 cars separating our top 2. Big run for Kyle Heath down the backstretch. Going to get on the outside of Todd Merkel. That's the let up for Jordan in front of him. So Robert Jordan at 74 wisely slides up the track. It's going to put Kyle Heath in the middle, and that is what happens at Dover. Lap traffic plays a pivotal role in this. That time by a big time loss for Kyle Heath. Patience is absolutely key in this race. Right now, I believe Kyle Heath has the faster car over Ryan Kelly. It's just going to be a matter, does he catch lap cars in the right place? Does Ryan Kelly catch lap cars in the wrong place? And how will this shake out with 30 laps to go? That time by again, Kyle Heath a little bit slower than Ryan Kelly. You know, when you get in lap traffic like we just saw, that really throws off all of your momentum. It throws off your focus. It throws off how their technique, your muscle memory of hitting every corner. You need a couple laps to reset. Some drivers a little bit faster at that than others. This time by, again, Ryan Kelly a little bit faster. So we're starting to see that 54 start to fade, but we will keep an eye on him as Ryan Kelly in the 13 continues to lead. Good pit strategy for him to jump ahead here. Pitting about 2 laps sooner than everyone else. And Silipinski, our former leader, Kyle Heath, currently second. Faster that time by was Kyle Heath in the number 54. So we're watching these lap times. Gonna see how they shake out. With about 25 to go, is Ryan Kelly still right behind John Held. That may be slowing them up just a hair. Ryan Kelly not in points contention, but nonetheless wants to get that win. I'd like to thank everybody for being in our chat tonight. Valerie, thank you. Hopefully Grijalva gets the win. Eric, thanks for watching. Aggie, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Nice to have some of the drivers tuning in as well. So battle for first. We got John Held. That's a lap car. You see it +1 on the boards. Ryan Kelly. And Kyle Heath, who is still beginning to reel in. Big kind of push there out of the 13 car. You saw the car sort of wash up the racetrack on corner exit. So perhaps that right front tire starting to go away on Ryan Kelly. Kyle Heath faster that lap, but at some point soon, he's going to need to deal with the lap car of John Held. And it's those lap cars really playing a pivotal role. There's the 28. That car is a lap down. That's Jorge Rason in the number 28. The 902 on the timing boards. Running that high line, 25 to go. A 1 second difference here between Ryan Kelly and Kyle Heath. These guys kind of trading lap times back and forth. Kelly's faster one lap. Heath's faster the next. So it's all to play for here with 25 to go and 1 second that's in it. In and out of the lap traffic. Ryan Kelly about to put points contender Mike Peters a lap down. So the Raising Cane's Repair Fine 95 lap down now. About dead even on lap times that time by. Fastest car on the track right now, but 3 seconds back. Isaiah Sutherland, I stand corrected. Guile Brooks in 6th spot. Fastest car on the speedway, but he is well off the pace of our leaders. Although he is gaining, he's got about 10 or more seconds, 12 seconds or so to make up on our lead pack. And I just don't think that's going to be possible to claw back. Definitely needs a caution flag here. There's a Marie Designs number 54 of Kyle Heath. Starting to lose some time now. Lap time's kind of balanced out between him and Ryan Kelly. He had a big charge there. Gained about 2 seconds, but just could not close the rest. We will, however, see what happens. We're going to jump on board with Guile Brooks. So we're on board Guile Brooks, the number 71 car. Battle up ahead. That's Joseph Grijalva on the inside of Jason Adams. Adams 1 lap down. Guile Brooks trying to get into this. Will put him in the top 5 if he get around Joseph Grijalva. With no cautions, big mover from 17th position. Guile Brooks Fastest car on the track. Gonna try to gain everything he can. Big run, and there's the speed on the corner exit. Drives it right to the inside of number 47, Grijalva. Car almost stopping on track. That looks like it was Robert Jordan just trying to get the pit lane there. Gael Brooks now up to 5th position as Joseph Grijalva slips back on by. Gael going to try to get a big run on the outside. Unable to do so. So good battle right here. This is for 5th and 6th position. Definitely keeping an eye on this one. As we want to go look, here is Ryan Kelly. Had a little bit of a tough time there getting around Mike Peters. Lost a lot of time, and that allowed Kyle Heath to close back in. Here's the gap. Peters kind of rolls over for Kyle Heath. Not sure what happened as we were watching that battle with Grijalva and Gael Brooks. Now Kyle Heath, he got renewed energy with 16 laps to go. Ryan Kelly just ahead here. 0.7 of a second is all that is in it. And Heath, that last time by, 1/10 of a second faster. Oh, Kyle Heath in the number 54 car. Him really pedaling the throttle there. Good corner exit. Gonna gain some more time on Ryan Kelly that time by. About evened out on lap times once again. So good action here. Another good action here. Joseph Grijalva, Gael Brooks side by side once again. Gael Brooks moves up the track. Gives Grijalva the inside. Trying to make that line work. Get some run down the backstretch. Look at that 71 car close up on the tail of this 47. Thank you, Matt, for commenting in the chat. Ryan Kelly, our leader, is being told he's saving tires. So Matt Wagner tuning into his in-car radio. And Ryan Kelly being told he's saving tires. So we'll see. Maybe Kyle Heath is as well. Maybe he's saving them a little bit better. Maybe not at all. Well, we'll find out in about 13 laps time. There he is, the 13. Dynaco. Chevy Camaro of Ryan Kelly. Sharp looking paint scheme. "12 laps to go with the Area 51 Next Gen Cup Series live here on Green White Checker TV. Very good competitive race so far. Lots of back and forth action. Being told Gael Brooks in the number 71 also slapped the wall. Unfortunate for him. We saw him in that tough battle with Joseph Grijalva. Car beginning to fall off though for Gael Brooks, and even more so for the 54 Demi Marie Designs Youthful Nectar Chevy Camaro Kyle Heath. We see him, and that has to just be agonizing. He gets a little bit closer and a little bit closer to Ryan Kelly, and then Kelly able to walk on away. But nonetheless, it will be a good points night for him and a good points night for Isaiah Sutherland, who sits in third in the Sutherland Used Cars Virtual Academy number 1. Sutherland current points leader as he's coming up to back the tail end of it's Mike Peters, currently sits in 8th. Peters a little squirrely out of the backstretch, and that's going to open the door for Isaiah Sutherland to slip on by. Gaining some time here, Sutherland a little bit quicker than Kyle Heath. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to reel him in. He's about 0.2 of a second faster than Kyle Heath. Not too many laps to go. So if he does close back in, there could be a good battle there for second between their pointsmans. Brandon Hartwell sits in 4th. Rare start with the Area 51 Next Gen Cup Series for Brandon Hartwell. Happy to see him in the field. Currently sits in 4th. Joseph Grijalva in 5th position in the 47 Ford Performance Ford Motorcraft Ford Mustang. And Gael Brooks, hard charger, slapped the wall in 6th position. Back up front though, there's Ryan Kelly again, just a little bit off of leader Ryan Kelly. As there he is. There's Isaiah Sutherland. We said keep an eye out for it. Sutherland beginning to close in on Kyle Heath. Kyle Heath really falling off the pace now. Sutherland, fastest car on track. Not going to have enough to catch Ryan Kelly, but may have enough to catch back up. And there they are, the 54 and number 1, almost running nose to tail now. Through turns 3 and 4 and onto the front stretch. You can see the momentum gained by Isaiah Sutherland. Trying everything he can to close back in on that number 54. Only 0.3 of a second separate them now, with 6 laps to go. 5 laps to go, I stand corrected. So if Isaiah Sutherland could get this could really open up the points for him with 1 race to go. This position, although he wants to be careful with 5 laps to go, could be very important to him. As here comes Jorge Rason, coming with a lot of momentum there. That may put a little wrench in the action here. Sutherland going to have to find a way around as we are approaching lap cars. Big run onto the backstretch here. May use the lap cars to pick. Goes to the outside. There's Morales. Gives Morales a little bump, sends him up the track. That's going to allow Kyle Heath to stay ahead for this time by. Morales slaps the wall. Almost makes contact behind him with Jorge Rason. Good battle here for second as Ryan Kelly, 2 seconds ahead of this, has streaked away from the field. 3 laps to go now, side by side for second place. And number 1 of Isaiah Sutherland, the 54, Marie Designs Youthful Nectar, Chevy Camaro, Kyle Heath. Heath barely taps the wall there, and that's going to open the door. Isaiah Sutherland slips on by for second. Not a position Kyle Heath wanted to give up, but maybe not worth fighting for at this moment. As out now, 2 to go. Popsicle sticks in the air for our leader, Ryan Kelly, the beautiful number 13 Dynaco car. Good pit strategy, was able to jump ahead to Gary Silipinski, who had pit troubles. Jump ahead to Isaiah Sutherland. Kyle Heath pitted from about 5th position, and it appears to have been enough. If he gets the white flag here, and he does, he crosses the line. Last lap for the Dynaco number 13 of Ryan Kelly. Tough luck this season. A couple races. Kelly, one of the fastest cars on the track, and just terrible, terrible luck with pit strategy, getting involved with accidents. But Ryan Kelly not going to be the 9 tonight at Dover. Comes out of turn 4. Ryan Kelly is going to take the checkered flag with the Area 51 Next Gen Cup Series. Close behind Isaiah Sutherland, Kyle Heath. Brandon Hartwell going to streak across the line. Here he is entering our screen. Joseph Grijalva will be coming around in 5th with Gael Brooks tightly behind. And Charles Evans, here he comes out of turn 4, will be our last lead lap finisher. Wonderful night of racing, but Ryan Kelly in the number 13 Dynaco Chevy Camaro is our winner. No caution flags tonight. All strategy in the pits and saving tires. Lots of tire fall off as Ryan Kelly is getting his moment in the sun as he burns down those Goodyear tires along the front stretch here at Dover Raceway. We are going to first talk to our 3rd place point man, our 3rd place finisher, I should say, of Kyle Heath. So let's try to get a word here with Kyle Heath. We see his car there on the screen. The Marie Designs Youthful Nectar number 54, the Chevy Camaro. Let's see if we get a word with Kyle Heath. Kyle Heath, this is Nick in the booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. What's up, man?
Well, Kyle, tell us a little bit about your night. I thought there, after that first that pit stop, you may have had something there for Ryan Kelly. Tell us what it was like, going through lap traffic, trying to catch him, and how that ended up affecting your car.
I think it all began with I didn't have much practice time at all with this. That's the first time I drove these cars on this track, so I got to give a big shout out for myself to do what I did tonight. Um, traffic was tough to get around there. I'm really surprised I didn't get black flag for coming to the pits because I came in the pits a little too hot, and sure enough, I got lucky on that one. Unfortunately for Gary, he got a black flag coming out. But that pit stop, I pretty much burnt my tires off trying to catch up to Ryan Kelly, trying to make up lost time because I know he went in pit. I think 2 laps prior before we went in.
Yeah, he put about 2 laps sooner and put him about 4 seconds ahead, and it turned out to be enough. But good run tonight for you in the points. I believe we head to Michigan next week for the final race. What do you think your chances are to pick up the victory and pick up the championship here with the Area 51 NextGen Cup Series?
It's going to be a tough bout. I don't know about a victory either case, but I want to drive my heart out and try to go off in a bang at Michigan. It'll be my first race at Michigan with these NextGen cars too. I'm still learning with these cars almost every track, so I'm looking forward to it. It's been awesome. I'm surprised I made it this far, honestly. So I mean, I'm just looking forward to the future.
All right, and before we let you go, is there anybody you would like to thank this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Area 51 for putting this out there. Nick, you in the booth, putting us out there. My teammate Isaiah, and I had another teammate tonight, a new one, Brandon Hartwell. He was out there tonight, and a big shout out to the playoff drivers. Just made it this far. It's been a tough racing, so I give a big shout out to my wife.
All right, thanks, Kyle, for talking to us, and congratulations on your 3rd place finish tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Kyle Heath. Now we are going to jump to the number 1, the Sutherland Used Cars Virtual Academy Logitech Chevy Camaro of Isaiah Sutherland. Let's get Isaiah down here in our booth. Isaiah Sutherland, this is Nick in the booth. You have a copy. Isaiah Sutherland, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Isaiah, tell us a little bit about your night. You started from about 6th position, ended up P2. What was it like out there?
That was a lot of fun tonight. There ain't nothing like just green flag running, First half of the race, I pushed it a little hard to try to stay up in, I believe I was 3rd. 3rd or 4th. I felt like I could make a good amount of passes, but I quickly realized that I did not save my tires as much as I needed to. Right front started to go away on me. So I fell back a little bit. I think it was like a 40-something lap run. That's when the car started getting loose, and that's actually when I started getting quick again. So I was running 4th and able to run down Ryan Kelly and Kyle and Gary was kind of gone at that point, but I was able to run those 2 down. And then we saw Ryan pit, and we took that opportunity to go ahead and pit the next lap to try to leapfrog Gary. And it worked out. And that last run, all I did was save. I didn't really push it hard at all until about 20 laps to go, I'd say. And the car was just perfect. It had a nice little bit of looseness to it, just enough where I could control it coming off the turns. And honestly, I feel like if I had maybe 5 more laps, I could have ran down Kelly there. But good win to him. Good battles all day with my teammate Kyle. We had a really fun little battle there coming down to the last couple of laps. So it was a really good race today. Definitely had to save your tires.
Yeah, it was fun to watch you kind of claw back up there to Kyle. I know it could be a little nerve-wracking late in the stages, getting closer and closer to your teammate, and both in points contention. And speaking of that, we go into Michigan the next week. Last race, I believe you will be the points leader by, I'm going to say, 15 to 20 points or so. What do you think your chances are to hang on to that and maybe pick up another victory on the season?
I would love a victory. That would definitely clinch it, no problem, and it'd be great to go out with a win. I know I'm going to have a tough battle still with I think Gary had some unfortunate events happen tonight, but I know for sure I think I'll be having a good little battle with my teammate because he might be second in points. I'm not sure. I'll have to see it whenever it gets updated. But having a 15 to 20 point cushion, that's big. I've really tried my hardest to stay out of every incident I can, be smooth and be smart, and it's paid off with the win. The first race at Richmond, and then the second race, I was able to finish ahead of all the playoff drivers. So, in this race, I did the same thing. So, it feels great to have that cushion. I feel like I can relax just a little bit. I'm still going to be nervous. You know, I'd love to win that championship. It'd mean a lot. Hopefully, me and my teammate can bring it home 1-2 for the championship, first and second. But I go in with a clear mind. I try to be patient, stay up front if I can, try to ride around, and hopefully be there at the end to clinch the championship.
All right, and before we let you go tonight to do your planning for that, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, huge shout out to I got some family and friends that watch. My buddy Eric watches. My mom and dad, they always like to tune in and watch. Shout out to them. Kyle Heath, he's my teammate. His nephew likes to watch all of our races. He's a big fan of us, and we appreciate him watching. His name's Aiden, so shout out to him. I always skip over it because I'm just in the moment of the race. But I'd like to thank all the viewers that watch, all the fans. Hopefully we put on a good show for y'all every week, and we're glad that y'all come out and watch us do our crazy addiction of racing. So shout out to y'all. Big shout out to my teammates at BFR Motorsports. Those guys are big help. Never would I've gotten this good. They definitely helped me with working on patience and becoming a better driver. So shout out to Kyle and Jason and Brandon Hartwell and all the guys at BFR Motorsports. Lastly, sponsors on my car. I got Sutherland Used Cars. That is my uncle's car lot, used car dealership in Northwest Tennessee. That's in Union City, Tennessee. Go to their Facebook, search Sutherland Used Cars. Whenever you go to their page, they do have some contact information, and they also have some cars listed there. So go check them out, and if you're ever in the area, just go take a look, see what they have to offer. Virtual Academy is also on the car. We offer courses online to take for retired or active duty police officers. So if you're interested, courses start at $69.99 a year. You have access to 100 courses, and you can go to subscriptions.virtualacademy.com/sign up. And also, you in the booth, Nick, you do a wonderful job here at GWC TV.
All right, thank you, Isaiah, and good luck going to next weekend. Hopefully you can clinch that championship.
Let's hope. Thanks, Nick.
All right, and that was Isaiah Sutherland. Final driver on the day that we are going to speak to is our winner, the number 13 Dynaco Chevy Camaro of Ryan Kelly. Let's get Ryan Kelly down here in the booth. Ryan Kelly, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Ryan, looks like you had some tough luck earlier in the season in a couple races where I thought you were in contention for the win, finally able to get it done tonight. Tell us a little bit, what was your thought process on that pit stop, pitting a little bit earlier than everybody else, and it really paid off for you in the long run?
Yeah, I knew I was pretty even with them, but I started checking the times between the run, and the fall-off was by so many seconds, I just figured the tires would be more useful on earlier rather than later since they started to equal out. So thankfully pitted because I was still pretty even with the guys ahead of me, and Gary wound up getting a speeding penalty. So thankfully that gave me a little bit of an advantage.
And in those late stages there, Kyle Heath was kind of chasing you down. I think eventually he burned his tires up, but you guys were in and out of traffic. Tell us what that is like. We're got different pit strategies going on. Some guys pitted twice. Some cars slower, running different lines. How do you navigate through that and try to keep your patience when you got a driver breathing down your neck just about 5, 6 tenths a second behind you?
Yeah, it was tough. At one point I let a couple lap cars by just to try and save some tires because I knew I think he pit later than me, so if he had fresher tires I wasn't too sure, but definitely was trying to save for the end because having come in before the halfway point I knew the second stint would be longer and the tires would definitely be more important at the end.
All right, and before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, all my teammates tonight and all the drivers in Area 51. Caution-free race is always nice. And you up in the booth, thank you, of course. And I know my mom was watching tonight, so shout out to her.
All right, awesome. Thanks for chatting with us, Ryan, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And that was Ryan Kelly, the number 13 Dynaco car. You see him out there on the Speedway. Let's take a final look at our results page here. To go ahead and pull it up. Ryan Kelly is our race winner tonight in the number 13. Got about a 2-second gap there over Isaiah Sutherland, the number 1, who will be our points leader entering the final race of the season at Michigan next week. Kyle Heath finished 3rd. Brandon Hartwell and Joseph Grijalva picks up the top 5 finish tonight. Gael Brooks, starting deep in the field, able to come back to 6th. Charles Evans, Mike Peters, John Held, and Josh Yarborough round out our top 10. Jason Adams, Mark Brown, Jorge Rason, Joseph Morales, and Derek Gilray finishes in 15th position. Final couple drivers here, Todd Merkel, Gary Sidlipinski with the maybe the heartbreak of the season award with the Area 51 Next Gen Cup Series, led about the first 55 laps or so. Comes to pit lane, and we heard it. I believe Kyle Heath mentioned it. Pit road speeding penalty for Gary Sidlipinski, as we suspected. Puts him back in 17th and probably takes him out of points contention, unfortunately. Robert Jordan, 18th. James Ledford, 19th. And the final car today, the number 00 of Lewis Woodall, rounds out our field. Next week, we are turning our attention to Michigan International Raceway in the Irish Hills of Michigan for the final race of our season here with the Area 51 Next Gen Cup Series. That'll be a 100-lap affair from Michigan, so a little bit of a longer race than we normally do, but that will ultimately decide our championship. As we watch Ryan Kelly do his burnout celebrations on the front stretch, I just want to say it was a wonderful night of racing action here on Green White Checker TV. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in and commenting on our broadcast, and until we meet again, good night.